Hello, beautiful souls. This is Vinita Kumar, also known as Twinflameunion, bringing you guys in this week's pep talk and empowerment. It's been a while, but I have a topic here, and this is something that is very close to my heart. And I'm pretty sure that majority of you also go through this time to time as you evolve in your soul's journey. It doesn't matter whether you're a twin flame or you're just stumbling upon this video because the topic intrigued you. It is something that I am pretty certain that you all deal with on a time-to-time basis. So the topic today is how to set boundaries, and that could be easily with things as well. We're going to dive more when it comes to people, but on the second portion we can actually maybe dive on the things as well when it comes to certain things that you can lay boundaries on as well, just so that you get the most out of out of your manifestation powers and all that sort of thing. So we're going to dive deep into this topic. Before we begin, let's hit it. And welcome back. For those that are new to this channel, welcome. Please do not forget to hit like, share and subscribe, as well as hit the notification bell so that you do not miss any future videos. You may want to check out my other pep talk and empowerment videos in the series, as well as the other series where people are asking me anything. And I found that a lot of people were asking me lots of questions. I do have some questions that were submitted by some viewers, so I will film that. Just be patient with it. I have a lot of stuff that's going on, so your questions are coming. Your questions and answers are coming. For those that want to ask me any general questions, you can do so as well. Any of the social media platforms that I have, I do read all the comments. Maybe I do not have time to reply to you guys individually, but I do read them, or you can email me. Whichever way, it's going to come to me at some point, and what I do is I keep them and then I just air them when I have a few questions tallied up. Also, you may want to check out my guided meditations. That is also on YouTube in this channel, as well as twin flame readings or collective reading. It doesn't matter whether you're on a soul's journey, on a twin flame journey. If you're stumbling upon my video and it resonates, it's because Spirit has led you here and you are meant to get something out of it. So I also want to add that if you want to book any private sessions with me, link is in the description box, so go ahead and take a look at that. It'll lead you into my website. You can purchase and book directly from there, as well as I want to add that 10% of Twin Flame Union sales also go to charity. All that information is in my website. I also want to add very quickly that I have now pre-recorded the empath training. Some of you were interested, so it is now a recorded program. I actually ended up recording 8 modules of that. So for those that have taken them before, I have definitely added new modules to it, or new modalities to it. So go ahead and email me or message me regarding the 50% off coupon code. You can use that code to purchase that and get acquainted to the new modalities that are there. So with that, we're going to dive deep into the topic. As usual, of course, I have it listed here in some shape or form in order. So we're going to dive into how to set boundaries. And this is merely talking about, we're going to dive into the people aspect, and then after that we can dive into things. So the first one that I'm going to talk about, I am a twin flame teacher, so this is the first one that I'm going to go into, is how to set boundary with your twin flame. So now this is an interesting part because majority of my viewers are twin flames. They are on a twin flame journey. So what does it mean when I'm talking about setting boundaries when it comes to your twin flame? As you must know by now, that if you're encountering your relationship or your connection with your twin flame, it's one of the most tiresome, most excruciating experience that you can ever endure with anybody. The reason why I say that is because of their ongoing triggering that they do and their behavior and their not so good behavior, not so amazing behavior that you are expecting out of them. This could very well be them, pulling off energetically, or in reality where they have blocked you and they're pretending that they don't want to have anything to do with you, but they can't take their mind off you just as much as you can. So how do you set boundaries in a situation like that? I'm just going to break it down to a few ways that twin flame relationships are, of course, presented to the collective consciousness. So this one would be for those twin flames that are have ghosted you or do not want to have any communication with you. How do you set boundaries there? You just basically tell yourself, and that's setting a boundary to you, that if they have decided to set that boundary and they don't want to have anything to do with you, then you should be setting that boundary that you are going to be enough for you. And it's a very simple affirmation, and you can even write that on your mirror or somewhere, that I am enough. And what this does energetically is it also sends a subconscious signal to them that you're not chasing them in a very vigorous way. The reason why I say that is because as your twin flame, they also feel the energetic pull. And if you are chasing them, and even if it's not in reality where you're trying to contact them, or you're trying to contact them through other means of communication, through other phones, if they blocked you on their phone, you set that boundary to yourself that you are enough and you don't need that kind of behavior. And in a way, the reason why I say that is because that's what it is. If somebody has blocked you and they don't want to have a conversation with you, they don't want to talk to you, it's pretty loud and clear that that's where they are. And by you constantly trying to chase them that way, you are also violating their boundary, because they have set that boundary as well with you to not have any ties with you. And if they've done that, then leave it be. Focus on yourself. I mean, it's easier to do that than me saying it or somebody else saying it. But the more you focus on you and you start to work that all inward, in your healing and in your alchemy and just you saying this or living by this principle that you're enough, it really, what it does, it actually aligns you on a higher vibration. So that's why I say that. So it is a boundary that they have set on you, and you should set that boundary for you as well, that you are enough and that you don't need to, cater to that behavior, if that makes sense. So let me know if that going forward will help you guys. I know that it certainly helped me when I was dealing with this, and I'm still dealing with it presently. So it's just coming out of all of that, and how you can shine and be you, facing that kind of behavior. So and for those that are in a relationship, you know that you also get lots of, you get a lot of triggers, and it's created both ways. And the whole reason for that is because you're supposed to have those kind of conflicts so that you can resolve it, and you can also have some soul healing, and you can figure out why the conflicts are there, as part of your soul growth. So those things are there for people that are somewhat in communication, or they are in a couple relationship. And yeah, you can set up boundaries, because if you feel that they are doing you wrong in the way that they're treating you, or even look at it through their perspective, if you are treating them not so good, then you need to do a self-check there as well, and say, okay, if I'm doing this, what am I getting out of it by behaving this way towards my twin flame? Am I getting anything? Am I achieving anything? And you need to go back and ask your question, these kind of questions to yourself. And this also applies to soul connections. It doesn't just necessarily mean twin flame. It could have also applied to soulmates as well, or any kind of soul connection that you're in. So I want to say that at this point, if that's some of the current dynamics that you are facing with your relationship, then set boundaries and write it down. Write what your boundaries are. What is it that you're not happy about in that connection? What is it that you are wanting some changes with? And because you guys are on a somewhat good communication with your twin flame, then I suggest that what you do is you basically set that boundary in, and say that this is what I'm expecting out of this. And if you cannot deliver, then let's do a healthy break, and you need to go and figure out inward what you need to do. If you guys are living together, then have a timeout. Go for your timeout energetically, or even in communication, and just say, okay, yeah, you need your time and I need me time, because we both need to figure out what's going on and whether we need to resolve this, or we're going to go our separate ways, something like that, right? So that's the just that I'm explaining. And of course, there's a lot of twin flames that are in third-party relationships as well, and that could be very well you, where you are in another relationship and your twin flame is in another relationship. You both are tied to somebody else, or it could be that your twin flame is tied up to somebody else and you are single, or it could be that you are tied up and your twin flame is single. So these are certain dynamics around the third party situation. So if that is you, then again, you need to ask your question to yourself, that what are you actually getting out of this situation? In what is it? If you are, for example, single and you're waiting for your twin flame to come around, leaving his karmic, then what you need to ask is, well, while he's sorting or she's sorting their life, what am I supposed to be doing meanwhile? Am I supposed to still remain in contact? Should I still date them, or should I set that boundary and say, no, You go and sort your stuff out, and you come to me when you are ready for something more, more concrete with me. So these are some of the ideas that I'm giving. Of course, for the purpose of the video, you can, you read in between the lines where I'm going with it. And if you, again, are tied up with somebody else and your twin flame is asking that kind of commitment, then you need to ask yourself, well, how long am I going to string this along where I'm with somebody else and, I want to be with my twin flame. I mean, there's all sorts of reasons why people stay with their partners. And we are coming at the end of the year. This is when it's actually filming. So you need to ask yourself just exactly what am I getting out of this relationship? Because at the end of the day, you are living your best life, or you should be. You only have this one life that you know right now. You've had previous lifetimes, but in future, are you going to reincarnate again? You don't know that. So you need to make the best of what you've got in this lifetime. And how you do that is definitely by making sure that you are living some sort of quality of life in some shape or form. Your life lessons are rewarding to you. Your life experience is rewarding to you. So, and the only way you can do that is definitely by creating some healthy boundaries around your twin flame connection or your soul connection. So yeah, I really think that it's underrated, because a lot of times we think that physical abuse is the only type of abuse that you can get, and that's not true, because there's also sorts of other abuses as well. There's emotional abuse, there's verbal abuse, right? So all those kind of things are there. So you need to make sure that you are being treated correctly. First and foremost, the whole point of this, basically the video that I'm filming here, is that you only focus on you, or you think about things from your perspective. Because at the end of the day, if you do not do that, nobody else will. Your mom won't, your dad won't, your sisters won't, your twin flame won't, your soulmate won't, right? So your friends won't. It has to be, or your child won't. It is going to be always you. So when you are in that better place and you have focused on you and what you need out of life, then everything else will just kind of click like a jigsaw puzzle, or those puzzles, it'll all, the dots will connect very strategically. So that's and that's just the way life is. When you are setting yourself up, you want to play a jigsaw puzzle, you find a few pieces that are the key pieces, and then after that you start throwing the other ones that kind of match, and you get the story, you get the game. And that's nothing different when it comes to your life as well, because you have some key focus areas that you have, and then after that you just kind of check them all and fit them in, and that's the entire reason of the soul's journey, is to, and that's basically law of attraction, really, where you are actually doing that in that kind of sequence. So we talked about soul connections, doesn't matter which way. Now we're going to dive into the boundaries at work. They're not in any order, don't worry. I just quickly jotted them down because I felt that I don't want to miss any of these, because it's something that, like I said, is very close to my heart, and I felt that going into the new year, some of you would want to, do a self-check on it. So we're going to dive into the work aspect. Work area is interesting because you're dealing with people, and the problem with people is that there's always politics. There's work politics everywhere. I do not know any work area or any company where you work in that doesn't have company politics. Company politics are there, and then you have your coworkers that also play politics. So your best thing is to, if you are inviting a lot of chaos at work, where certain things are just kind of happening, bad things are happening in a sequence of events where you're having conflicts with your coworkers or, you know, your boss or something like that, you need to go in and ask yourself why you are inviting something like that. Because when you look around, you're not actually going, like if you look around, what I'm trying to say is that your colleagues are not going through the same stuff. It's only you. And if that is the case, then yeah, you need to figure out why this is the case. Why are you, you know, so special that you are inviting these kind of circumstances? A good example that I will give you is a friend of mine. She is a viewer here, so if she's watching this, this is for you. You know who you are. She's always running into conflicts with her colleagues, and she gets her job really quickly, no issues. And for some reason, she'll work for a couple of months or 2-3 months, and then she'll tell me that she ran into a conflict with a coworker, and then however way that happens, she ends up getting fired. And this was last week when she decided to call me, and she was telling me that she got let go from this job because she got into this in a conflict with a coworker, and her boss ended up taking her side, the coworker's side, and she was a young kid, this and that. And I said, okay, time out. Why is this always happening to you? Why is it that you are going through this kind of situations, and why are you inviting it? And she's like, no, I'm not. And she didn't see it. Why I'm asking all these questions, because I've heard it many times now. So clearly this is something that is a pattern. And this could very well be your case. I'm not saying that's the case, but I'm using this as an example. So I told her, I'm like, okay, for the last 20 years, let's say, think about all the companies where you have been fired from, and make a list, and now go back and think why that has happened. Because she's a good worker. From what I'm understanding out of her work ethics, it's not that she's not a good worker, and she's the type of person that's very hardworking. She has like 2-3 jobs at a time, so she enjoys working, and I believe in her energy that she is actually giving 100% to her work. So her work ethics is not the case. She's not calling in sick. She's got good attendance. You know, if she's calling in sick, it's because she's got health issues and stuff like that. I'm just saying that in her case, particularly, I don't think that is the issue, but there's obviously something in a vibrational level where she's actually basically inviting these kind of situations. And so anyways, she was quiet. She didn't know how to answer that. So, and if you are watching this video, I do love you. I just want you to think about that. She ended up getting a couple of days ago, she messaged me and she did get another job, similar field. So hopefully going forward, she's gonna be mindful of how, what kind of conflict she is running into with her colleagues, because whether you are in a work environment or not, you're still dealing with people, and people do still get, they still have emotions attached to them. Sometimes you don't know which way you're rubbing these people off. Sometimes they're having a bad time in their own life, and they come in not leaving all that stuff behind to work, and you must have triggered them in some way, and of course they are behaving this way. And some people are literally grown-up children. I totally believe that, because I see that in my workplace where people behave like children even though they are grown-up adults. So I think that some of them are worse than a 3-year-old, because even a 3-year-old is more disciplined than them. So, and that could very well be, your case as well at work, because you're dealing with all sorts of people like that. I felt that it's important to mention that here about boundaries. And if you find that you are in that kind of situation, you should almost create an invisible, whichever shape that you like, circle or a square or a pyramid, and put yourself there like a glass crystal pyramid, right? Place yourself in the middle and say, okay, I'm not going to let anybody come past that. You are in your safe bubble. Stay. That it's sort of a solution. So you put yourself in that safe bubble, and you create that boundary that nobody is supposed to come, penetrating through that crystal glass wall or glass pyramid, in that white light field, right? So try that. And also, I really, really strongly suggest that you think about that question, because it's a powerful question. I've done that many times, where I've had stuff that has come up in various areas of my life, whether it's my coworkers or stuff at work, or it could be clients, and I have written that part as well. Even my neighbors, I really had to go inwardly and ask, how am I creating this around me? Because I don't hear everybody else talking about these kind of experience. So clearly this is an experience that I'm inviting. So I had to go in and find the answers within. And once you actually go and ask that question, I swear to God, the whole thing just shifts. I have no idea how it does, but that whole aspect of your life will just shift. So ask yourself that magical question. Write it down. How am I creating this in my reality or in my vibrational field? What am I doing wrong? And everybody's going to have a different kind of answer, but it will give you some kind of shift in energy, where you will actually start to resolve the issue versus escalating the issue. And it could very well be just your mindset, where you're going to develop a higher intolerance to all the BS that happens around you. And once you have actually said to yourself, I'm not going to cater and not give energy to this BS that's happening around me, your whole mindset, when they shift, then you're not inviting that. And miraculously, it doesn't become your BS anymore. That's the best way that I can say, because it has happened. So try it. Let me know. Come back and definitely comment on this video if you take some of these and come apply it and come back and you've had great results. The reason why I say that is because a lot of people will then know that this sort of thing works. So yeah, try some of these tricks that I'm telling you, because it does shift. And it doesn't necessarily improve the situation around you, but it allows you to tolerate it a little bit better. And when you are tolerating a little bit better, then what that ends up happening is that you're not giving energy to it, and somehow it actually disappears. Or if it's still there, trust me, it becomes invisible. It becomes so invisible that you don't even realize it's there. So try it. Another aspect that I want to touch on is how to set boundaries with family. We all know that we can't change them. That's the package that you were born in, and we have certain things that we can change. We can change our friends, we can change our job, we can even change our lovers. Unfortunately, this is where we cannot do anything, and that is to change family. It's true. right? It's what you were born in, and it's who you are stuck with. And when I say you are stuck with them, you are stuck with all their good and bad things, all inclusively in one package. It is what it is. So how do you set boundaries with them? I want to say that the best way to set boundaries to them is to be very, very clear as to what you want. And I cannot emphasize on that. Like I said, this entire video is all about yourself and what you want and what you want out of life. It's only you. This video is all about you, nobody else. So when you're asking that kind of question, the $1 million question, that what do you want, make a list, and it's going to be very individualized for all of you what that list is. And the next portion that you're going to ask is, what do you want from them? And most of you will agree with me. You probably want them to appreciate you. We like being appreciated. And that could very well be with your twin flame too, right? Or your soul connection. So, I mean, like I said, I'm a little bit all over the place, but take all these principles and apply it in all if you want. What do you want? So the first one was, what do you want? What do you want out of them? Of course, respect, for them to respect you, to appreciate you, to value you, right? These are some of the nice things to think about, and to listen to you. Because I'll tell you one thing, I go through this all the time with my family. They're not very good listeners. They don't understand, and maybe even understand you, because they're really lousy at doing that. So these are some of the key things that I'm thinking is going to help you guys, right? Appreciate, listen, understand, and respect. If you guys have any other ones that are jumping in your mind, let me know. So these are the 4 key pillars, right? that will form a better relationship with your family. And if you feel that in that confinements of the 4 pillars, this is not happening, then you need to lay it. And it doesn't matter whether they're older than you or younger than you. It doesn't matter, because again, if they are behaving like 2-year-olds, then you're the mature one, and you can definitely say, okay, I've had enough, and you all need to grow up, because they could be 60, 70 years old and they're still behaving like 2-year-old. Like I said, it's the mindset, it's the behavior pattern that they've got, and they must have, developed it over the years, or they inherited it from their, family lineage, whatever. All I'm saying is that have these things laid out and set that boundary, because the whole point is that if you have respect for yourself, and when you are in alignment with you, what ends up happening is that you're gonna attract that. And if people, even if you're not attracting it, you definitely will be demanding that out of people, and guess what? They have to give it to you. And if they don't, then how to go past that, or how to behave accordingly, because their behavior will definitely direct how you will sort that situation out, right? I just want to say that that's something that you need to address. I had a similar experience with my family, where for the longest time, I was getting little abuses here and there, and they were not big enough. But when you put them all together, it starts to feel a lot. And I started laying that boundary with them, and now they know exactly where they stand when it comes to their behavior with me. The way I look at it is that I don't behave with them that way, so I'm not going to be the recipient for that. So yeah, you sometimes, and that's why I say family is a little bit different, because families do behave a certain way that is special. I'm pretty sure some of you do agree. And family can come through aunts and uncles, cousins, anything like that. Your children, even, right? So lay some boundaries and expect them to comply. And if they don't comply, then you take the next step of action to say, no, this is what I need. You need to listen. So let me know how this experience is with you guys, because I know almost everybody is going through all of that, right? So, and it's just living a very special experience, with your family members. It's just the way life is. So I want to mention the next one, how to set boundaries with friends. Friends is a little bit easy because friends are usually a reflection of you. The reason why I say that is, as you evolve on a vibrational level, you'll find that you are leaving a lot of friends behind. Not necessarily the friends that you had in your childhood. You will be able to resonate with them in your adulthood, or even through your teenage years, whatever friends that you had. Not necessarily you're going to resonate with them. And friends come and go, right? As you shift your consciousness, you'll find that lots of friends you will move out of your life, and there's going to be new friends that are going to be coming. And as you evolve on a conscious level, it's going to change. So, and yeah, there's going to be some friends that are going to meet you on your level as well, where they have actually lifted their vibration, and they're going to meet you there and match that vibration. And if that's the case, even better. So when it comes to friends and their word of wisdom to you, because at the end of the day, we all talk to our friends about things, because that's what we do as in a human way. We chit chat, and we find that we want to just have lots of advices. And even if it's not advices, they just sometimes they'll give it to you anyways, right? And you need to just have boundaries there too, because sometimes they overstep their boundaries, and you'll know when they're doing that too, especially when it comes to your spiritual journey, especially when it comes to your connection, your twin flame connection, your soul connection, your husband, your wife, right? So the best thing is to lay your boundaries there as well. And it's going to be very individualized and personal as to what you feel your boundaries should be. So yeah, I really suggest that you create sort of a wall where they don't penetrate through and tell you what to do and what not to do. Because when it comes to your soul journey, your lessons, nobody has a right to tell you what should be your thing. Yeah, you can suggest things, as you well wishers, they probably do the same thing. They suggest, but they shouldn't be controlling. And I guess the whole point that I'm mentioning any of these is that sometimes people like to be very controlling. They like to control behaviors or non-behaviors, whatever. So yeah, if you find that you have a controlling friend that is excuse me, I've got like a tickle in my throat, that are trying to help you, but you know that they're not, they're actually making you feel bad. And anytime when people are telling you something, if you find that my God, my Throat is like tickling. If you find that if there's something that they're telling you and it triggers you, you're not happy with it, then chances are it's not in alignment with you. So if that's the case, then so be it. You don't have to take it. You know, you can listen to what they're saying, but at the end of the day, it's your life, it's your decision, and you take whatever thing resonates and whatever doesn't. You know, that's just the way you're supposed to be living your life anyways. And if down the road it's a lesson that you're learning, so be it. That's nothing wrong with lessons, as long as you're learning from it and growing on a soul level, right? So those were friends. Now I'm going to dive into some of the people like me or others that are business owners or have stepped into their mission. You will come across people that are going to be very, very critical of whatever you're doing because they don't believe in your dreams and your goals, and they think that you're wasting your time. You know, you certainly will get that from your friends, your family. They won't take you seriously, and it doesn't have to be that they have to. Not everything that you're doing in life has to be approved by other people. Who gives? Who gives? Complete that sentence, right? So I want to say you set your boundaries in that sense too, where your goals and your dreams and your aspirations are just simply yours. It's nobody else's, and it doesn't need to be. So you are your own person, and you figure out how this is supposed to, you know, help you in your growth in some way or shape or form. So there's going to be lots of challenges, especially for those that are stepping into their twin flame mission. I know in the beginning I had lots of challenges. I even had abuse from the collective consciousness, where I would say something and they would get so abusive and they would start messaging me and swearing and all that sort of thing. I had to block them, and I had to do all those kind of things. You know, one thing I learned is not to engage in those kind of things. Initially, I wasn't that person where I didn't engage. Sometimes I did. And I found that, you know, if I get that kind of, you know, response from people, then the best thing is to just walk away. And this was about 2 years back when I actually thought to myself even about that how is it that I'm actually attracting this kind of situation from you know, triggered collective twin flames. You know, what's going on here? Why am I even attracting this? What's happening? And that's why I said that's like a really trump. That's your trump card. You know, whenever life is presenting you in any of these kind of situations, just ask yourself why you're attracting certain things as the way that you are. And when I asked that question, I have no idea what happened, because it completely shifted. And as I started to, you know, like see from that time when I asked that question, going forward, maybe about 6 months is when I stopped, you know, getting any kind of anything from people, and now I barely get anything. Barely. So definitely I lifted my consciousness, where people are appreciating my work and they see the value. And not only that, it takes a long time to even establish yourself as somebody that people will take you seriously. It's a lot of hard work, and this is for those people that are trying to figure out your soul mission path and all that sort of thing. If you have a dream that you are trying to pursue, it'll take a lot of work and dedication, and it's going to be, you know, it's not going to be easy. It's going to be blood and sweat, where you're going to be putting so much hours and work into your, you know, your goals, whatever you're trying to accomplish when it comes to business or your mission work. And yeah, it's gonna take time, and at some point it's gonna be where you will look back and say, oh my God, I have accomplished so much. And that's just the way life is. And if somebody told me this is the transition that I will have within the last 4 years, I wouldn't have believed it. And it's about around this time when I actually opened my Facebook group, and I didn't know what the heck I was doing at that time, 4 years back, right? But it was something that called out to me, and from there, everything else kind of shifted. And people were laughing at me in the first year because I knew I was a twin flame teacher, but people didn't take me seriously because I didn't have the work to back it up, right? I was just starting off, and and I was getting a lot of abuse. I'm just giving this as an example because you guys will have your own stories. What I'm trying to say is that continue to go through your hurdles like this, and just know that it's gonna be okay. And before you know it, just work, keep continuing, don't give up. Don't give up is the key here. And that's a boundary that you're gonna create within you, that you're not gonna give up. So that's why I was saying that creating boundaries is not just with people, it could be with things, it could be with your own self about something. So this is a boundary that you can create. It's a very healthy boundary where you're not going to give up on your dreams and your goals and whatever that you are trying to get going in life. Because fast forward a few years later, you will have all that work that you can say that, okay, I did something. I have something to show for. During COVID, good example, a lot of people were laid off and they were staying home. So of course they were making fancy dishes and they were just having fun, this and that. And during that COVID, time out, I managed to build, something that is what it is today. And I'm very proud of that. And I don't know how I did it, but I did it. I was busy. And when people asked me what I was doing, I was like, oh, I'm busy. Yeah, I'm working, and I'm not meeting people. We were not allowed to meet people. We were in a lockdown, but I used that time very wisely to do this. And fast forward now 3 years later, I have so much to show for, and I'm grateful. I'm grateful that I stood by. And what I'm trying to say is that there's going to be people that will throw abuse there as well, and they will not take you seriously. Your friends and family definitely won't take you seriously. And I'm going to just say, just continue. And there's going to be lots of blocks. People will, especially in the spiritual community, people don't want to spend money and they're expecting things for free. So if you are people that are in your mission work, and time is money, and if you're putting a lot of time into your mission work, you should be getting some sort of money in return, because that doesn't make sense, right? You have to also earn and make a living, and you have to live. And in order to live, you need to buy food, clothing, shelter, right? Transportation. So, medical care, dental care, right? Personal care, all that stuff, traveling, right? Having fun, all that sort of thing costs money. And yeah, there's no such thing as you getting a bag of gold when the sky just lit up and, parted and boom, you've got a bag of gold, and and that's what it is. There's no such thing. So respect what you do, and respect your work, because when you respect your work and what you do, then other people will do as well, and they will find ways to buy your products, your merchandise or your services. The list is endless. So stay true to your dreams. I'm gonna say it's value you. When you value you and you value your work, then chances are that you will have a whole set of people that will value you as well. I remember people complained a lot about my long videos, and I said, no, I'm not changing my style for you if you do not like my long videos. You know, there's other channels that have shorter videos, and maybe that's meant for you. So I ended up actually writing that in my about section, that this channel does have long videos. Whether you like it or not, that's what it is. I don't have time to come here on camera and do videos like this. So it costs money, first of all, because I actually have a person on payroll that does the back end. That person looks after my website, puts all the blogs in, whatever I write, whatever, you know, manages my shop, manages my YouTube video, all that sort of thing, so that I'm not doing all that sort of thing. It also creates a job for that person, because, you know, through me, he's also getting something out of it. So it is a chain. This is, if you are a business owner, you know what I'm talking about, because if you're selling something, then definitely you are giving people a job as well. So, you know, it's just a cycle, and that's the same thing as you employer as well. If you are working for a company, chances are that you are giving your services, and then your employer is also created a job for you so that you can get paid. So it's the same cycle. So you have to respect all of that. And I'm just saying that do not be ashamed of what you do, because you should be proud of what you've got going. And if you're proud of your accomplishments, everybody else will be too. And if they're not, then it's okay, because there's going to be 1,000 other people that will. So it's just where life goes. So we talked about pretty much people and the boundaries that you can create as a client. This could be a client, as a client where you are a client, a merchandise client to somebody, a retail company, or you know, you're at the grocery store and you know, you're buying groceries, or you know, you are a client and of a healer or a teacher or a coach. List is endless. You know what, you know where I'm going with this. If you you know, if you're a client where you are at a, you know, getting services like chiropractor, massage, that kind of stuff. So there too, you need to set boundaries. And I did that. I'll give you a good example why I brought this up as a client. Because when you go as a client to somewhere, in my case, it was the case where I was going to my chiropractor. I'll give you that example. And she knew that I was into spirituality and that I have a whole this other side to me. Of course, that was all. I've known her long. I've known her for over 10 years, because, you know, we went back that far, where I'm still a client. She's a good chiropractor, so I go there for. She expanded her business, and she's got other like massage and acupuncture is there, physiotherapy is there, right? So all those kind of things are there. So I just find that in one stop I get some of these, you know, additional services as well. So she was, every time I would go, she would start. She I guess got intrigued by this spiritualism. Because you know, she's got a few clients that are into all these kind of things, Reiki and shamanism, and you know, so every time I would go for this was last year, I was going through some injuries and stuff like that, so I was going there more frequently. So then she was asking me a lot of questions and stuff like that, and here I'm trying to concentrate on what she's doing. And you know, if you've ever taken chiropractor, you have to actually focus on what they're doing like when they're cracking you, right? Because, you know, they put you in a certain position and they're doing that. And in her case, you know, she was distracting me because she's asking me these questions, and then I just said, okay, time out. You know, you need to, if you need to know, I'm just a client here coming here for these kind of sessions. And if you need to know my spiritual stuff or my other stuff, then you need to put in the time and, you know, put in that work. Go and ask. Go and look at my information or my content, right? Do not bug me here when I'm actually a client. And same goes with last year. I was meeting up with my friends, and some of them were asking. One of them is a little bit more spiritual, so she was asking the same thing. She's like, you know, bringing up questions about spirituality and all that. And I always say politely that you need to catch me on some other time when I'm not having a few drinks and I'm in a social gathering here. You know, if you need my time, you can contact me on that time, paid, and ask me whatever you want, and then I will tell you. Right now, I'm not in any mood to talk about that because I don't live 24/7 my business. I have my time out. So there was another situation where I was getting a treatment done, and this was this year, and this lady started asking me lots of questions, and I said, well, just look up what I do and research it. And if you are intrigued, if you want to book a session, you can, you know, go to my website and do that. But here I'm just a client. So what I'm trying to say is that that's going to also happen to some of you, and you need to lay the boundary there too, because you don't want people to barge in your personal time. And your personal time is yours. Whatever services you are getting, you that's your personal time out, and it's you're going there to do something else. You have another agenda, and yeah, you're gonna meet up people that will ask you questions, and you should just say, you know, look me up. I'm there. That's what I say to people. You know, if you are intrigued enough, you can find me. I'm there. I'm easily findable these days, and you can look me up and see what I do. You're right. I say it like this, and now whether they do or not, that's up to them. I don't indulge and tell them, because the way that I look at it, the best thing that I like about what I do is that only people contact me or find me that are looking for specific things when it comes to their soul journey. That part makes it more rewarding, because then you're not pushing, you know, your work on everybody, because it's acquired, you know, work for only certain people will be drawn to what you do, especially if you are in a spiritual business or in a spiritual mission work. So but yeah, if you're a client, I would say, you know, throw that boundary there as well. And as a client, respect other teachers and spiritual teachers and other people's services, and yeah, don't go pushing stuff, right? Like if you, for example, if you're going to a medical doctor, right, don't start selling your Reiki stuff to them, right? You need to you need to know your boundaries there too, because you need to respect their services, their work, and what they are out there to do. So same goes with pushing your services. I mean, this is such an annoying thing that I'm pretty sure by now all of you have seen, where you will have certain trollers that will go into social media accounts, YouTube groups, right, Instagram, you name it, and they start spamming the person's page or their account, because they're trying to get clients, right, for their work. Or, you know, the biggest one is biggest scam is the spellcasters, right? These kind of things. And yeah, as a client, you're supposed to respect people's boundaries and all that sort of thing. You're not supposed to be, if you're joining some sort of social media places, don't go there with that agenda that you're going to find clients. You're not going to find clients that way, because if you're looking for clients, you're not going to find it that way. People won't respect you if you are messaging them or spamming them and wanting to sell your products, right, or your services. You need to be big enough that, in the sense that, in a grander, larger, scalar way, where they will find you on their own and be drawn to what you do, and then they would want to contact you for some additional services. If you are good enough, people will do that. So that's what I'm trying to tell you. And this is why I personally did not create those spamming emails where you will notice that if you have ever booked any sessions with me and stuff like that, it's only pertaining to the conversation regarding a booking or something like that. It won't be me spamming you with other things, unless people have subscribed to my blog. And my blog is just my blogs, because they enjoy reading my blogs and they get a lot of in-depth information, so they subscribe to it. So every time a new blog is published, they don't want to miss it, so they subscribe to it. But that's the only email that they probably get is just that from me. I don't spam. I don't, because after a while people get so annoyed, they unsubscribe you, they block you, and they put you in their spam folder and your junk folder. Like, what's the point? I've done that, where mistakenly I put my email address to something, and then bam, before you know it, 60 emails are coming from that spammer. And they could be business holders, it doesn't matter. They all do that. And I am totally against that principle. So I just don't like it. It's just annoying. So if I don't like it, I'm pretty sure people don't either. So that's something that I decided not to do in my work, where I'm spamming people with unnecessary BS, right? So if they are curious enough, they will look at all my information. So that was mainly people things. And I know this is a lengthy video, but it just goes to show that how much information is just around for setting boundaries, right? Another healthy way to set boundaries would be with things or habits or with you. A lot of it would be health related. You are going into a new year, and if you want to have a better quality of life, you probably want to have a nice health routine. It could be things that you want to eliminate from your diet, and that could be just anything. I'm not going to go into it in detail. I'm just going to touch it slightly, where you probably want to remove sugar from your diet, or fatty things. I don't care what it is. That's up to you and your your choices, or alcohol or cigarettes or anything like that. And you create that boundary, healthy boundary within you, because that's something that you want to do. You want to make a choice. You want to change something and be a better person and transform yourself. So, and it could be very well even a exercise routine or regime, where you want to get up in the morning and go to the gym and do your thing, or do yoga, or go for a walk, right? Any swimming, any of these kind of things, hiking, any of these good things that you are thinking that you want, but you haven't had the willpower to do so, then definitely create a very healthy boundary and make it healthy enough. And also have some moments for play as well. So cheat days are really, really good. That's when you don't feel guilty, because you have a cheat day and you could be very, very amazing for the whole week. And if you need to just have a cheat day, 1-2 days where you want to just splurge, then you don't feel bad that you are living such a mundane, boring life. You know, you're spicing things up. So look at it this way. Try to form some habits like that, or create some boundaries within yourself. Some discipline. Boundaries are another. When it comes to you, boundaries is also discipline. So that's it's a powerful word when it comes to that, because you are creating boundaries, but you are actually creating self-discipline. So take it as you want with that. I'm just saying that you can easily do that as well. And going into the new year, you may want to check some of the things that you want changes in within you, to just become the better version of you in whichever way that is for you. So let me know. I would love to know what your boundaries are for yourself. Tell me in the comments. I'm gonna read it. You're going into the new year. When you write things down, then it anchors into your subconscious mind and in your conscious mind, and you will work on it. So I would really encourage you guys to list what your boundaries will be. It could be anything. It could be even setting some boundaries with your twin flame, or whatever. You can make it a venting situation. I don't care. You list it for me and I will read it. I'm excited to know what you guys are going to, and get creative. You know, see what you want as your boundaries to be created. Another thing that I was gonna say is boundaries, like I said, if it comes to you, is self-discipline. So if there's something that you wanted as a habitual situation, maybe writing gratitude journal, maybe you guys are not so habitual with that and you want to create a better habit. So yeah, you can definitely create a boundary within you that no, I'm gonna do this now, and it's gonna be every day, and it doesn't matter what time. Another one would be vitamins. I'm finding that the more I talk to people are not very good with taking vitamins, because they often forget. And you can set boundaries as a routine as well. And on a positive note, of course, you know, it's not on a negative note, and you can create some ways to remember to take your vitamins. I find that taking vitamins and doing gratitude journaling is the best just before bed. First of all, when you go to bed, you already have eaten dinner. It doesn't matter what time of the time you have gotten to bed, because you have eaten. So usually, if you look at the fine prints of any off-the-counter medications or vitamins and stuff like that, they always say eat with food. So you've already eaten, so you know you've already done that situation. So go ahead and take it before you go to bed. You may want to read some of the fine prints, just in case it's telling you something different on the box, or on the bottle. So make sure that you do read that. And gratitude journaling as well, right? I do find that if it's beside your bed table, you will remember to write it. You'll remember to take your vitamins. And you've created a healthy boundary there, not to forget. So that's the healthier way of setting boundaries to you. And when you do those kind of boundaries, you get so much rewarding. You find that it's rewarding and you feel good. This is the make feel good boundaries. Well, boundaries are supposed to make you feel good anyways. Doesn't matter which way you dissect it, right? So yeah, you try that if that's going to help. What else can be a good boundary? It could be also just boundaries to. It could be anything. It could be even reading a book. Right? Some people don't have time to read books. I don't, and I had to. This will probably baffle some of you. I had to create I had to actually manifest that last year in my vision board, my yearly vision board, and I have again created that in like I haven't created it yet, but had time. But I will I have already printed the pictures, so I just have to put them in a vision board, and reading a book is there as well, because it's something that is very important to me. I do like reading materials, because the more materials I read, the more I understand everything, and then it makes me a better teacher for you guys. So it's a constant learning process for me. So yeah, you may want to check that out, that aspect, if you want to gain more knowledge and wisdom, and you want to create a boundary somewhere within your routine, that okay, this is what you're going to do. You could create a boundary where 15 minutes before going to bed, you're reading this, or you could be 15 minutes from the time that you wake up, you make time to just read a few pages, and then you go along with your day. It could be anything. So those are some of the habitual boundaries that you can create, and they are very, very individualized. And I just gave you a few examples, but it gives you a very good idea what I'm trying to say. So if there is things that you want to do, definitely create it as a boundary where you're forcing yourself. Boundary is all about forcing. It's like force stop. And it's not any different when you're trying to get rid of something that you don't like about yourself, or you're trying to discipline you, and you set that boundary in that sense, and do a force stop and say, nope, this is it. This is what I'm going to be doing. And the procrastination that you have, where you're trying to just put things off, and you can't be bothered. You have no choice, because you've set that boundary, and boom, it's there, it's locked, and now you are going to follow it. So hopefully this video was as exciting for you to listen to as it was for me to give it to you guys, because like I said, this is something that is very close to my heart, and I felt that before the year ends, this would be such a valuable insight for some of you that are trying to figure out for next year what you want to do, and just to create a healthier space for yourself, because guess what, you're simply freaking worth it, and you believe it. With that, this was Twin Flame Union. Have a blessed week ahead.